So she's like, Shawn, coffee? I was like, yeah. She goes, and then I got my pen with me, her weed. I was like, okay, great. It's 2:30 on Sunday. The show's almost over. I'm like, all right, I can smoke a little bit. We go outside, and I'm pulling on this pen, and it's so clogged. And I'm like, Mo, this thing is clogged. She's like, you can get it. And I'm pulling, and boom! A huge cloud of weed vapor into my head. And I'm like, holy I am way too high right now to deal with a con. And then I realized I told everyone all weekend long I was doing portfolio reviews at 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Holy shit.
So as I'm coming back to the table, there's a line of people with portfolios. This is the Inkpulp podcast. Yo, we are live.
Hello.
Oh, this is a high energy podcast today.
Yes,
It's starting off high energy already.
It's 2 p.m. for me. I just had lunch, so I'm kind of.
Oh, you're in sleepy mode.
Yeah.
Mattteo,
How's the weather in all Italia?
It's kind of weird. It's been super rainy over the past 2-3 days, like incredibly raining. And today it got better, so it's I can see the sun now, but it's been like gray and just rain for 2 days straight. But you guys, what's the weather like over there?
it is hot as fuck already here.
When is it not hot in your neck of the woods?
Atlanta Sean? Is beautiful. I'd say 70% of the year.
70%?
Yeah. There's about
what is quote unquote beautiful? Is it like nice?
Anywhere from 60 to 80 and sunny.
Okay. All right. What this time around? It's what 100 something, 200?
No, it's 90. But
so hot,
but humid too. Yeah. So you've got that to
see. That's the part of Atlanta. Like I don't mind the temperature. It's the humidity.
Well, yeah, I'm okay with it until usually about August, but it just came in strong out of nowhere. Like it was beautiful, and then it just went way up one day, and it just sat there.
Yeah, Parma is really similar in that to Atlanta. I remember all the times I went
longitude.
there, I basically had the same weather that I left. So.
Yeah, summer finally kicked in Oregon.
So what is it, 75?
What does it mean?
And partly sunny?
Yeah. No. That means it's like, it hits in the 80s, but it's weird because in the midst of like, you're thinking, okay, all right, summer. Like when I was living in Southern California, summer would kick in and it started 80 and started climbing. Sometimes it gets as hot as like 100 something and everybody like freaks out because things are melting. But over here you have like 80 for 2 days and next thing you know, just like, it'll just start raining out of nowhere. Pacific Northwest is so weird to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of clouds.
Yeah, here as well. It can get pretty rainy all of a sudden. So
yeah, randomly.
Yeah, randomly. Like it was like 2 days of rain, but before that, it was just a week of pure like super hot already. So
yeah, you know what?
It is a little.
I would
weird.
rather take that level of random weather in Italy, and everybody knows, I think, how much I love Italy. I'd rather take it there than over here. Like I just
if it was given a choice, take anything.
But also, like it's not like Italy. There's a lot of differences depending on where you are. Like if you go
like
to the
Italians,
south, it's
you know what I mean?
Thing. Yeah, Italians. Yeah.
Mattteo, do you ever vacation in Sardinia?
Sardinia.
Yeah.
It's
Sardinia.
I was there 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, it's great. Like the only thing that I didn't really like about it, like the I would say the seaside, how do you call it? The sea in general.
Yeah, the ocean.
It's hard to find anything better in Italy. There's something maybe in Sicily, something in Apulia. But other than that, you can't find anything better. But at the same time, it's pretty much limited to that. Like, there's not a lot of nice cities to visit, places to see. So unless you really love spending time on the beach and just enjoying the sea.
Which I do.
There's not a lot to do. And for us, me and Francesca, now that we have a kid, he enjoys, the sea. So we're going to be spending more time there. But generally speaking, we're not huge fan of just stay there for hours and hours, like all day long.
Oh
just,
my God.
laying down on the beach and that's it, doing nothing. That's why
You're
us,
talking,
like
you're talking dirty to Shawn.
Yeah. And for us, like the best vacation is a compromise. So Sicily for us is way better because you have a nice sea, but also there's a lot of history, a lot of cities to visit. So there's more you can do, like, you wake up early in the morning, you spend a few hours by the sea, then you go back to your apartment, you eat something, and then you go visit in the late afternoon, you go visit, a new city or something.
Gotcha. So is there a convention in Sicily?
Yeah, it just happened actually. Like it was 2 weeks ago, I think. It's Etna Comics.
Okay, I remember I met in Croatia an Italian artist. I think she's in Florence now, but she's from Sicily. You know her. I think her name was Vanessa.
Oh, Vanessa. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about the same Vanessa. Probably.
Yeah. What's her last name?
And she's from. Shit, I'm blanking on her last name.
Is it like Ferraro?
I'll tell you later.
Ferraro?
No. Not exactly.
I'm sure it's the same person. But she's from Sicily, and she said there was a show there. Yeah. So
she's actually from Taormina. If she's that Vanessa, Taormina is a really special small city. It's one of the most beautiful places in Sicily. Okay. And
she's in Florence now in a studio. Is it possible it's Milan instead of Florence? It could be. But she's in a studio, I think, with some other artists.
Yeah, she's in a studio in Milan, though.
Okay.
There's Etna Comics, which is the show that just happened a couple of weeks ago.
All right, boys.
And that's beautiful, and it's nearby Catania. And at that area of Sicily, so far, is our favorite. Is the East Coast. It's amazing. There's a flight from Parma to there every summer. Oh. So for us, it's even easier to get there. So I think
we need to get the Inkpulp podcast boys over to Sicily, or as Italians would call it, Sicilia. Right? Did I say that right?
Sicilia. Yeah, getting better, man.
See,
how's your Italian studying?
Awesome. I'm on day 82 in a row of learning Italian.
That's great.
In a chapter that's all about
he's going to be fluent in day 87.
I got all excited when I learned what tavola meant. Because we go
the
to
first
Tavola
70 days.
Like, table.
were just to learn gay pickup lines.
Well, that's the whole reason I'm studying Italian, so I'm done.
I heard a lot of good things about the previous episode with Millar on it. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That I was actually listening to it today, like this morning, and I was like, we were pretty good. Like the flow of the whole thing, we're good. We're good. I know he's laughing right now. I know what it means to you, but it's I think it's a very good attitude to have. I'm not saying we're the best. I'm just saying, when you do something good,
we do a good job.
It's good to say it out loud. I was about to text you guys and tell you, but whatever.
I believe in that. As a matter of fact, but I never get further than 5 minutes. I don't know what it is. Like
it's when I stop talking and you start. Probably that's when you want to stop.
At minute 5, that's when I start talking. I don't know. It's in general, like there's such an influx of. I think it's the pandemic also helped it. There was such a huge influx of podcasts that right now everybody's doing it, And I'm
Yeah.
so kind of like, or at least we're seeing versions of it of people who are sticking around.
Sure.
And I think for me, it gets like, oh, I don't want to listen to a bunch of people talk. Right. Like, and especially if it's us talking. Like, I heard this conversation already. I was part of it. Why am I going to watch it again? Like, so in my head, I think like when somebody says, hey, Eric, this, the podcast was really good. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that. At Heroes, I don't know how many people dropped by the table who were just saying it. Yo, I really love. Yeah, they were. There was and every time I said like, that's all Shawn and Mattteo. They do a great job. They
and
really
let's put a pin
in
in there because I want to hear everything about Heroes. We never had the chance to talk about the show. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, everybody would come by and really, they were celebrating both of you guys. You guys have really, really good chemistry. And I thought like, yeah, they really fucking do. And, and a couple of times I think it was unfairly said, although I 1000% agree. They were like, thank God you're there to be the adult in the room. And I'm barely the adult in the room,
Well, it's the role you play
to, like,
and we have fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the one adult between 500 children. You guys both represent 250 kids. It's really hard to be the quote unquote adult in the room when you're out of control. But it just goes to show people are listening. So for those who are still listening, thank you very much. My attitude has always been, I'm hanging out with my friends, but if people are having an opportunity they say it's funny, like it's so. One of the pieces of feedback, one of the comments was like, "Oh, it's so nice to hear guys talk about the industry and the like little things that happen." I'm like, "Do we talk about the industry? Or do we?" I never think of it that
here
way,
and there. Like, so by the time I think we have a free, what they would call a free format. We start talking, and then sometimes we end up talking about comic books with somebody. Some of us is thinking about something specifically, or we keep talking about the weather and all this useless shit,
But in my head, that's what we talk about, but somehow it crawls into stuff that people appreciate, So again, let me not lose track of it. Thank you so much. Thank you for dropping by the table, chit-chatting with me.
Absolutely. I've got some cool plans for New York Comic Con for all the listeners that are going to be there. So stay tuned for that.
And Eric is going to be there. Yes. Right? I already said it. So now you have to, now you have to deliver, buddy. You're coming.
Yeah, because he's all around.
You can always count on me to show up whenever you guys hype it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Eric's going to be there. Can I tell you something that's hilarious? Okay.
What?
So I messaged Shawn about 2 days before the show started. Right.
Yeah.
And
can I interrupt you just for 1 second? So please,
go.
People, in the comments for this specific episode, tell Eric not to go to New York. As long as we gather at least 10 people telling me not to go, he's gonna find a way to go. All right. So that's how you have to reason when you deal with Eric.
It's weird. It's weird how like that's like a smart motivation. But if I hear like 2 people say not to go, I'll be like, okay, that's good. That's good. That's good enough for me. Like, that confirms my belief of not going.
The 10 people were just to make 100% sure that,
there's a saturation point we need to reach.
2 people was 98%. You get 10 people, it's 100%,
Yeah.
So 2 days before the show starts, I message Shawn for something. Well, I asked him about something that's happening.
The dinner plans.
That's right. I'm like, hey, I was inquiring about the first night that we were going to be there because it was my buddy Doug Ernst's birthday of Iconic Comics and the Soul Finder fam. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, listen, if we're going to go, he was Doug was looking for a place to have dinner. And I said, no, Shawn has already made dinner plans for all of us, you guys included. So I was just following up on where the restaurant was. And I messaged Shawn, hey, Shawn, something that simple. And Shawn messages back, you're not going, are you? Like not only just at the dinner, but obviously to Heroes Con. And for
the show, you're leaving the US, you're going on another planet.
Yeah. Like I'm just gonna travel the countryside in a van. But for a brief second, I got really annoyed. He was like, you're not going, are you? And I was like, fuck you. And then I thought, no, that tracks. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually have to spend more time. Like the energy isn't even trying to like apologize. Hey man, I'm sorry, I can't make it. Blah blah blah.
You know, it
reason
was
XYZ.
just an amen, and that's it.
Yeah.
You could have followed it, you know, how's it going? But he was already expecting the worst from you.
It could have been. It could have been positive. You know, hey, I listened to the podcast. You're not going, are you? You know, it was like that.
Well, and also to back up that point, probably for the 3 weeks leading up to Eric, I would ask him like maybe every 4 or 5 days, you think you're going to make it?
Yeah.
To the show.
He's that level of nervous, you know?
Yeah.
I've quote unquote hit him so much that every now and again he just texts me and be like, do you still love me? Because you hit me a lot, but that means you love me, right? And I thought like, maybe I should hit you some more.
I
if
know
that's
that
what you
love
think,
language.
You know?
But also
Anyway.
I had planned like Eric's birthday party. That's what that dinner was. So I was really hoping he'd be there for that.
Sorry, guys. I just got to leave for literally 10 seconds.
Okay.
I'll be
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
Go hang up on who's calling
yeah.
you in the middle of our 4 p.m. podcast.
We started this show talking about how good the Millar episode was and how semi-professional it was. Today we've thrown that out the window.
It's still professional. This happens to most professionals, people calling in at the last second. Okay, just to give people context on what I think made Shawn nervous is because I think it was 2 days previous, Shawn, I was talking to you about this. Mm-hmm. I had confided in you and I guess to the audience now where I'm like, I'm starting to get like bouts of agoraphobia, you know, where I don't feel like leaving the house. And I don't know what that ultimately talks about. Maybe it's just a phase in my life. Oh, Matteo's back. Let me start over.
Yeah, start over when the dumb shark is back.
Hey.
Yeah, sorry. I just, I had an Amazon thing arriving because now my son is a huge fan of Toy Story. And he loved
that's so cool.
Buzz Lightyear.
Woody? Buzz?
Yeah.
Buzz.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Lightyear,
Yeah, Buzz.
the way he says it. And so I ordered, since he's been good over the past like 3-4 weeks, we've seen a huge improvement. So now I think we're getting out of the terrible 2 finally. So he's getting a gift.
Congratulations, pal.
We decided to, you know. So I bought a Buzz Lightyear toy. So that's it.
A Buzz Lightyear.
That's the rite of passage for any boy. You basically monetize his goodness. You know?
Oh, I like how that
was that? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, I said, you monetized his behavior. Congratulations on setting up that.
Yeah,
good
in
pattern.
order for him to keep behaving like that, I'm just just reward that kind of behavior. And what else? Oh, it was so weird. Like the Amazon guy, it was a girl, and she was just wearing a top and really like hot pants.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Does that?
That happens.
Okay.
It does because like Amazon.
Wait, when you say a top, do you mean like a bikini top or like a shirt?
What? No, it was just basically not a bra. It was like a sport bra.
Oh, a tube top. A tube top. Oh, okay.
Tube top. Okay. It was just a sport bra and hot pants. And I was like, hot? All right, that's what. She looked hot on the screen.
Okay.
But
okay.
You know, it was like, Like normally I have a really ugly guy, stuff like that. So I was like kind of surprised.
Well, this time you paid extra for that. I think you clicked it on the Amazon app. You know.
Can I get
the sexy delivery option,
the stripper option. Yeah.
Too bad I told her to leave the package on the post box on the box. Shit.
Yeah, that costs you an extra €45.
Eric,
okay, so as I was telling Shawn, I think one of the things that made Shawn super nervous is because 2 days previous to me, for him like doing that, hey, you're not going to go. I was telling him I was having this right now. I was having 2 days before that. I was having anxiety about going to Heroes, and I confided in him that I I'm having like these bouts of like agoraphobia where I don't want to leave the house. So I think the circle is complete, you guys. You know, next episode.
Yeah, you're kind of 4
I'm just
years
gonna be
late to
wearing
that,
a
Eric.
robe.
Like COVID was 2020, not 2024.
No, hold on.
But
I'm 4 years. I'm 4 years into the realization. I think I knew it back 4 years ago, and now I'm just dealing with it.
But so how was Heroes Con for you? Was it really tough to be there and go through it all?
No, I think once I get there, right, I turn my brain on into the version of myself that is like, you know, marketable and, you know, palatable to most people. I don't immediately like hiss at them and
not
spit,
the real
you know?
Eric.
No, not the real. I'm like, get the fuck out
takes
of
a
here.
lot
What
of
the hell are you
training for
talking to me
Eric.
for?
He's got to prepare for
It's
like 3
exhausting.
weeks.
It's literally exhausting. Do you know how much crack cocaine I have in my system? Are we gonna get demonetized because I said crack cocaine? But yeah, no, it's I was having bouts of that, and I thought like, man, I really don't want to go. It's really super taxing on me. But once I got there, everything is fine. But that's becoming more and more prevalent. I mean, I was experiencing it, but not very aware of it for our Washington trip. Like,
Oh, really?
I don't really want to go. And then
then
I'd realize, oh shoot, it's one of the only times I think this year I'll get to see Mattteo in real life, you know?
Yeah.
So I'd better find the frickin', you know, whatever. I better go take as many drugs as I can just to get there, right?
And then you got stuck in a room with Pukey Von Shawn.
Yeah. Pukey Von Shawn's not good, man.
Oh, that was rough, man. That was rough.
It's weird.
Anyway,
My mom recently told me I had that. I had agoraphobia when I was little.
Really?
It's weird because I completely removed it, but when she told me, I was like, huh, and it kind of came back to my mind. I recalled it. I recalled some episodes and stuff. So yeah, it's fun. Like, have you ever had that in the past? Like, it's a recurrent thing from the past, or you never had?
No, I gotta be honest with you. If I knew the three of us were at a show, I mean, it was all I can do to get the hell out of the house. You know, like I am planning. I would take a week off from work, and just be like, "Oh, I can't wait to freaking hang out with Shawn." I'm getting the artwork ready. I'm actually doing my laundry. You know what I mean? But now I'm kind of like, fuck those guys. I mean, in the most loving way possible.
Not us, by the way. The audience, all the people attending the show, right?
No, he meant us.
The audience is great. Okay, so let's get into Heroes, right?
Right.
I did not sit with Essential Sequential this year because I was sitting with the Iconic Comics guys. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks to those guys for being so kind to me. That's Doug Ernst
over there.
We set up a booth.
It was really nice to meet those guys too. And have a few meals
really. I mean, I was telling them, I was telling Shawn about him for a good long time now, and I'm glad we had an opportunity to sit down and have multiple meals together. I thought, right?
As
a couple.
Two. Yeah, we had two.
And then what do you call it? Setting up at the booth with Doug, with Tim and Mark. That was a ton of fun. I had an opportunity to meet a bunch of the people who were coming over. Although I'd come to recognize that I hadn't been to Heroes since. Do you guys recall when? 7 years ago? 10 years?
Yeah,
No,
it's
it
been
can't
a
be 10
while.
years
Probably
ago.
same time
7.
last time Maddie went. How long has it been for you, Matt?
I gotta check. But continue. I'll check as you talk.
Yeah. Anyway, so
it's been a while.
Yeah, so it's been a while, and I guess just the nature of the show, and it's not a slight. It's a really it's actually a compliment that people who go there to see us, have been conditioned to buy original art, which is really cool. We go there, we sell our pages, our commissions, or whatever. And so when I'm there in a different capacity, which is as a publisher and a creator of my own book, I didn't plan a strategy to hey, yeah, you're here to buy my work. Thank you so much. But here's the stuff that I've been doing from a creator-owned perspective. You know what I mean? So that took a little while to oh, wait, I'm there and not as a guy who's selling art and taking on commissions, although I did a little bit of that too. I was there in a self-publishing capacity. And so I went immediately into my old school Heroes, habit, which is like,
Yeah.
dude, thank you so much. Here's some art. Here's a portfolio. Here's some, doing that bit. And I'd realize, oh shoot, I'm here to sell my books, So
Yeah.
that took a little while to get used to. Thankfully, between Tim, Mark, and Doug, they were, reminding me, all right, we're here to represent our books, to represent all the stuff that are publishing. So that was interesting. Again, no slight to the people who were there to look at my original art. That was that's like super complimentary that even after a long break, people were still there to come and take a look at some original work. So thank you for your guys' support. What else? The crowd was
It was
light?
2018, by the way. Because
okay.
I was supposed to be there in 19
yeah.
as well, but then I had to cancel at the last second. But no, COVID was 2020, so it was for another reason. I don't remember what, but I couldn't go at the last second.
Yeah. 2018, we didn't even see each other there at 2018. We must have seen each other at a different show that year, right?
Right.
Probably.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know, Shawn. What do you think? Was the crowd lighter?
Yeah, I would say for Heroes, it did feel light, but but it was sold out, I believe.
Yeah.
So, but I think they've also expanded it. It's like it used to be just a giant I shape, and now it's this L shape.
Yeah,
and
let's talk about that a little bit. They had a little area that was what would you consider, like a peninsula, like an extra sort of like inlet,
like the bottom of an L,
like a wing.
Yeah. And they were doing everything that they could to funnel traffic over there, because there's a lot of signing areas there now for creators and everything. So that was a new one for me. I hadn't seen it, but they said they'd had that for a little bit now, right?
Yeah, I had seen it. Yeah, I saw it last time I was there, but it was smaller. And there wasn't, like, this time they put artists back there, and I feel like artists really got fucked by being put back there.
You think so?
Yeah,
I think it was a strategy to like funnel traffic in that direction.
I think it's going to take a few times for people for the masses to catch on to that, because when it first opened, it was like part of it was like a craft market, like not necessarily comic book artists, but comic adjacent, like fan art and stuff. But it was also dealers, like comic book dealers, like collectors and dealers, and it was like a big area for that. This time they moved more of that into the other area and put some artists over there. I agree, to try to pull traffic through, but I was talking to like Chrissy Zulo and Chris, and they were back there, and they just got murdered by being back there.
Wait a minute, this year they were there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see them. Holy cow.
Exactly. I ran into them outside of the show. I was like, where are you guys? And they said they were not happy. They were back there.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I know they put Bisley back there to try to pull people back. And I know
a lot of creators were over there,
Yeah.
I thought Adam Hughes, they said Adam Hughes was back there somewhere.
Probably. I didn't see him at all, so that would make sense.
Now, that said, like strategy aside, Heroes took great care of us, I thought.
Absolutely. They always do, yeah.
They put together, I think they put together such a phenomenal show. And I've said this multiple times with the Iconic guys, was that it's so cool that they've effectively, minus the peninsula, because again, that's sort of like, I don't know, that's a testing thing that they've only recently been doing. But like, there's that clear delineation right down the middle of it, where it's like dealers and, by the way, it's not like, it's not like weird, like vendors that are like you've come to know them to be at shows, but really they have like, I've seen, and I'm a huge fan of like chocolate, but sometimes you see like chocolate dealers or whatever it is at shows, and you're like, that's weird. Like energy drink dealers, and you're like, that's weird. What's that got to do with it? This is not a pop culture show more than it is like a comic book show, like a true to form old school comic book show. So the dealers that are on that side, sure, you'll see toys, but man, I don't know how many people I saw, like long boxes upon long boxes of people who are actually like, comic book stores that have a mobile version of the stuff that they sell. So that's really awesome. And on the other side are all the artists,
right.
Which is great. I could have spent all 3 days just going up, doing the zigzag routine, finding new people who are there. So that's really cool. So kudos to Heroes for taking care of us. Kudos to Heroes for maintaining that legacy of like a really, really awesome, still feels like a homegrown show, although they've grown obviously since they had to add that peninsula in there. I suspect it's because they're trying to accommodate, all the people who are applying to that show year in and year out for however long it's been going on. So respect.
Is there
Thank you guys.
still the party on Sunday going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
That I stopped
what do you
going
call
to
it?
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to that
At the
in a
comic book
while.
show.
Yeah.
And did you go
I'm-
to our usual Mexican place?
Which
No,
one?
Mateo, the food scene in Charlotte has exploded, and so
Yeah, it's
really?
out of control. It's
we
out
had
of control.
some
Like,
amazing
it's
dinners.
so
We had some
different now
amazing
in
dinners.
the 5 years since we've gone. It's so different now. Like, there's so many places to go.
Yeah, so
it's not just that one strip that we used to go up and what I mean, like the typical. I don't know. Is that College Avenue? I don't know what it's called.
College, yeah.
Right?
But
Like,
no, we leave. We have to Uber to dinner every night because we leave that little area because there's so much out there now. So the first night there was that good barbecue spot. We did that for Eric's birthday.
yeah, that was nice. Thank you, by the way, Shawn. That was really cool.
Sure.
Thank you for accommodating.
I think
iconic
we might have
guys.
to do that every year. We got our own like outdoor patio area. We had a buffet set up. It was great.
Yeah. And the cool thing was, because the iconic guys will travel all up and down, the Midwest area, they were educating me on the different kinds of barbecue, the regional kinds. And I've never thought of it to be like, oh, that's weird. There's different kinds of barbecue preparation.
Yeah, and people are like, it's like religion to people. Like in Atlanta doesn't have like a specific barbecue type. So we can go get Texas barbecue. We can get North Carolina. We can get St. Louis. We have all of it here. But if you're in North Carolina, it's about the pork and the vinegar.
Yeah.
Like that's the North Carolina barbecue. Whereas Texas is like the brisket with no sauce and the rub.
Yeah.
So
I've never known any of it, but hey, man, I'll eat it. It's delicious, right?
Yeah, it was
so
great.
thank you for that. That was really cool, and it was great to be able to catch up with a handful of people while we were at that dinner. I got to meet a couple of your buddies who both had the same names. So it was weird referring to them as the same.
Ali and Ali.
I thought they were fucking with me for a second. You know what I mean? It's like, hi, my name is Ali. Hi, my name is Ollie. And I was like, no, you're not. I'm going to call you
the funny
one.
thing, correct me if I'm wrong, Shawn, but they're related somehow?
Yeah, they're cousins.
Yeah, and they don't look
Nothing.
like one another at all. Like,
Yeah.
No.
it's so weird.
They're both Lebanese.
And one of them, I gotta say, one of them looks like an Ali. The other one doesn't at all.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what that means, but I'll take it. I'm like, hey, what does an Ollie look like?
Well,
now that said, those two guys were freaking amazing. They were great.
Yeah, they're great.
I chatted them up the entire time we were at the barbecue place. Really, really cool guys. So it's fun. It's fun meeting new people. And you're like, hey, I can jive with these people. They're not like, a couple of weirdos, which we've had in a couple of our, in the past, we've had in a couple in our company, like somebody who got invited adjacently, and you're like, you talk to them, and you're like, I'm so glad dinner is only about an hour to 2 hours long. Let me excuse myself.
That's most people for Eric.
Really, really cool guys.
he still thinks about it with
hopeful.
us. So
Once in a while, I'm like,
Dude,
fuck, man.
he's still
When's our
trying to back
reservation?
out of dinners when it's just us and a couple other people. Like,
Shawn is traumatized by it to this day. Still, he's still checking. I'm at the.
I
you know what?
I want you
Shawn
to
is at
enjoy
the dinner, looking at me, going like, "Are you going to leave right now? Are you going to leave? You just got here. Are you going to leave?"
whenever you would start talking, is like, you're leaving now? Are you? Oh no, okay. You just
Shawn goes into that hug animation.
You
know what I mean? Yeah. Shawn goes into that hug animation like we're about, we're parting ways, Anyway, so got a chance to meet those guys. Those are great. Jason, apparently the talk was, oh shoot, can I tell you what happened to me before we got to Heroes?
What happened?
My flight is leaving at 6 a.m. in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. So the car service comes and picks me up.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm texting my wife, hey, I'm in the car. I'm headed out. When you wake up, I love you, that kind of thing. And then I'm texting my friend Valerie, who I hadn't seen in a while. I don't know why she came. Like, randomly, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen Valerie in forever. So I text her, hey, when you wake up, I haven't thought about you in a long time. Hope you're doing okay. And I pass out, right? Guy pulls up to the airport. Sir, here's your, we're here, blah, blah, blah. Grabs my big bags. And like I have a big trunk that has all my self-published stuff in it. So I'm trying to tell this guy, hey, take it easy. It's a little heavy. Start walking across the street to go to check in. I get to the what do you call it?
You left your phone
departure
on
area.
the car?
Left my fucking phone in the car. And I have no way to check in. And clearly I have no way to get to this guy, to get back to this guy. Luckily, smart on my feet, I launch my traveling Wi-Fi, or the little Wi-Fi pod. And I get on my computer and I'm messaging him using my computer, using the iMessage. Thankfully, he turns around, comes back, drops off everything. And I think little things, including my cologne bottle, like breaking inside my luggage, like little things about this show is like 10 people going into the comment section going like, Eric, you should go and go to New York Comic Con. It's just confirmation to be like, I don't want to leave my house anymore.
But something happened, because that happened to Eric, and then Jason left his phone in the car as well, but couldn't get it back. So Jason didn't have a phone all weekend,
which is a blessing in disguise.
Now the driver, he got in touch with the driver, and the driver dropped it off at Jason's house, but he couldn't get back to the airport in time.
Yeah.
So Jason didn't have a phone all weekend.
And which then who was which allowed Jason to be like in the moment, which
Jason had to work.
I was curious what that was. I didn't sit with Essential, but I was curious to know like what Jason was like as a human now, without like being interrupted by the constant whatever the hell is going on in his phone,
Dude, and it happened to someone else. There was a third person who left their phone in the car. I can't remember who it was, but it was like this weird thing going on.
I don't know why, but in my idea of Jason losing his phone and having to spend the whole weekend without it, I don't see him like exploding somehow. Sure, it's got to be frustrating for him because he's constantly on that fucking phone.
He was even.
It looks to me like a person who accepts whatever the fuck happens. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe
it
externally,
stress out,
but
right?
inside, I bet you. Externally probably fine, but internally he's probably like, "What the fuck is happening in the world right now? What's going on Facebook?"
Do I have to talk?
It was
do I have
Carrie.
to make eye contact and talk to people, and pretending I care?
Yeah,
it was Carrie. That's who forgot it, and I think Carrie missed his flight because he forgot it, and had to get a different flight and got in late. I think that's what it was.
All right. So there you go. That was the start of the show. Great show all around. The food scene was crazy. That first night was good, but then we went to a
yes. This is the place I want to take.
What is the place?
So bad.
What is
Hawkers.
The place?
Hawkers,
right? That place was so freaking good.
Yeah, that place is amazing. There's one in Atlanta.
What type of food is that?
It's Asian street food, but served tapas style.
Yeah. But it's misleading because you can get a full portion without having to like get little tiny bits at the same time, which is what tapas style is to me,
Right. Yeah, they have some full portion stuff, sure.
Yeah.
It's just delicious. It's so
delicious place, and everybody is full, but for whatever reason we tried to go get ice cream, or we did get ice cream.
Yeah, we did get ice cream.
We didn't need to.
Of course. Why are you even telling me?
In the spirit of like,
I gotta tell you, earlier that
decadence.
day, the day we went to Hawkers, earlier that day, I was talking to Carl Kerschel and Andy, who we hung out with all weekend.
Yeah,
and Carl, I guess, had seen that you weren't sitting with Essential and you were over there, and he was like, "Shawn, what's is Eric no longer with you guys?" I was like, no, he is. He's putting his efforts into his publishing stuff. And he's like, "But why is he with those guys?" Like, he just was curious.
Yeah.
And then after dinner with them, and they were having ice cream on the Uber back to the hotel, Carl's like, "I get it." He's like, "I get why Eric's with them." I was like, "Why?" He goes, "Those guys are fucking hustlers."
Yeah.
Like he saw it.
Yeah. It's tough to be at the table when I have a general attitude of just like, I don't give a shit about this. But those guys are like, they care about everything. It's one of the few times that in recent times that I would see guys who actually strategize about like their approach, their like, talking to people, that kind of thing, like, and how they play the baton game when it comes to handing you off to the next person down the line on the table. Does that make sense? Like they really do care about making sure that they succeed, but also like you also experience that, hey, if you like this book, you should go check out that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's been a while since I've been exposed to that level of like, hey, I'm not just taking care of myself, but also the people next to the left and right of me. That's pretty freaking cool.
That's great.
I'm glad that when you're sitting there, it becomes really, really obvious, but I'm really glad that Carl could see it. Right. Oh, by the way, thank you to everybody who joined us for dinner. Those nights that we were out, it's been a while since I saw Tommy, so it was nice seeing them.
Yeah,
and
it was great seeing Tommy.
Tommy was there with his daughter, no?
Scarlett.
Yeah. Charming young lady. Speaking of daughters, your daughter joined us at the show.
Zoe was
sat with you.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I was doing everything that I could to like offload all work to her, but she was like, I don't fucking need you. I got my own shit. I think those were her words exactly. Right? She was like, fuck your old
I think she used
style.
a racial
I got my own thing.
slur as well at the end of the phrase, right?
Yeah, she's like, I don't even understand how you could be. She was like, I don't know how you could call yourself black adjacent. You clearly are not, She watches the show, clearly, obviously.
Mattteo, I have to tell you, the last dinner, Eric missed, you left Sunday. The last dinner.
I don't know if I missed it,
Yeah.
All right, because Eric always leaves on Sunday. This is a thing that we never talk about.
Get the fuck out of here.
To go to church.
Of course. So Sunday dinner, I found this it was called The Cellar. It's a little steakhouse in a speakeasy that was actually a speakeasy in the 1920s. And they like their whole, it's a cocktail lounge and a steakhouse all in one. And all their cocktails, they make their stuff from scratch. So if you order a Moscow Mule, they're shaving the ginger into the drink. They're using soda water and then adding sugar. They're not using ginger beer. It's like they're making their own ginger beer with the drink. That place, that was a great meal.
That's awesome.
That was good.
That's awesome. You're making me wanna go to Charlotte next year. Fuck. And also going back to Jason, he told me that so far, Charlotte, the Heroes was probably the best show of the year so far. Like business wise.
Well,
I don't know if you had the same experience. No? All right.
No. Dude, I don't know. I think most everyone did okay. I don't think I didn't hear anyone say I did great except maybe Scotty, because Scotty's Scotty.
It's Scotty.
But
Yeah.
I had the worst show I've had in years there. I don't know what it was that year. I mean, just in terms of sales, I had a great time and I saw a lot of cool art and left like really inspired and charged and had great business talks at dinner every night with people. But yeah, I had like the worst show. But even people like the people did okay. I didn't hear anyone really saying they did great. And the last time I did Heroes, it was like the best show I'd ever done financially. So that show's always hit or miss for me. I think because I'm semi-local and I do other shit.
It might be that might be a Shawn thing. You know what I mean? I think
that mean?
that
What does that
might
mean?
be a Shawn problem.
Don't tell me.
I know, but we're thinking of it though simultaneously, right? Like,
what does that mean?
Maybe it's a fucking Shawn
I think
issue.
that everybody was telling him that they did okay, just not to make him feel bad about
Just to
himself.
make him feel better.
Yeah, I feel it for you, brother.
See?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
No, I mean,
Here's the
happens.
thing. Like you guys always like Eric is so fucking dark. At least I broadcast it. I'm honest and I'm like a parent. Matteo's dark too, dude. You know what I mean? But he keeps it to himself. You know, like that's the difference between me and Matty. Matty was like, that sounds like a fucking you problem. He thought that but I said it out loud. Matteo's like, thank God you said it because I was thinking it too.
No, to
Listen,
be honest
I
with you,
think
I'm curious because the last few heroes that I did, so we're talking about 2017, 18, stuff like that, it wasn't that great for me, the show. Like the show itself, it was always a great experience. I always had fun.
Right.
But, business wise, it wasn't that great. So I saw a kind of trajectory going down.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
I
think it's
decided,
getting bigger.
I'm gonna skip for a few
Yeah,
years.
it's
Shawn,
it's
Shawn, what do you
too
think
many
of this?
artists.
Because you said this. I think you just said this right before we started bombing on you. You're like, because I'm a local guy. Do you think there's something to be said about like Mattteo is always showing up to Heroes consistently and almost always up until 2018? That people are almost like expecting him there, and so the business didn't necessarily go to him anymore because there was sort of like there's a you know what I'm talking about? Like if a guy who hasn't been there in a while.
Yeah.
Right. They go like, oh my gosh, I've never, you're new, like it's like Wanho going to New York Comic Con for the first year.
Right.
People, it's
if Mattteo went back to Heroes, he would kill it.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. If you went back to Heroes, Mattteo, you would have an amazing show. I'm sure of it.
You couple that with the fact that you're loaded for bear with like brand new stuff, right? It's been a while since, Mr. Freeze wasn't out then, was King of Spies out then. There's just a bunch of things that happened between then and now. So I think people would get super hyped about it. But I don't know what you guys think about that idea that you've been there so regularly that there's not that heat behind it. What do you think?
Well, what makes me think this is there was 3 people that came up. They're like, hey, I want to get a commission from you, but you're going to be at Dragon Con, so can I get it there? And it was like, okay, so they saw an opportunity to get a commission from someone who isn't so local, who isn't around a lot. And then they can, and I did. Like Dragon Con, which is normally a, nothing show, could be an amazing show if these commissions come through. So that's what made me think like, all right, I'm too accessible in the area for this show to be like gangbusters for me.
Right. What do you think?
I have a solution for that. I think you should go and leave somewhere else. So Heroes would start going great for you.
I'm going to come to Italy.
What do you think, Matty? Do you think that has any?
Definitely. If you're always there, like I will have to check again on my emails, but probably before stopping going there, I probably did that show maybe 10 years in a row.
Yeah. We did.
So once I know that you're gonna be there every year, if I want something from you, I can say, if there's, a bigger artist or somebody that never goes there, maybe I would say, for example, you said Simon Beasley was there. I would be like, okay, you know what? A painting, I want to buy a painting, a Simon Beasley's painting or something. It's got to cost a lot. So, Matteo's going to be here next year, no matter what.
Next year.
So let me spend, some more money in guests that I'm not sure I'm gonna see again.
That's because, exactly what I'm saying.
You're be always available, so that's the thing.
But also to back up the sales thing, did you see the piece Andrew did for the auction? It was a Tarzan painting. Yeah, it was it was like 2 feet by 3 feet. It was huge.
Oh, sure.
And in the auction, it went for $1,700.
Whoa!
And like I was shit. I wish I would have known. I would have bought that. It was a beautiful painting. And Stelfreeze did a large one as well, same sort of size of a manga girl, an anime girl, and his went for like $1,700. So
I mean, potentially it's just like not a ton of money is going around these days. Just
that's
generally,
what I'm saying. I think people are very reserved in terms of spending right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, but also it's you have so many artists in HeroesCon now, so much talent, and the people buying art has not grown, but the amount of artists going has grown.
Right. Oh, speaking of awesome artists, I think there is always in a way, we are a quadruplet, but one of us is very, very quiet and rarely seeks public attention. And I finally got a chance to see him in Since Forever. Jeff Decal was there.
Yep.
and I got a chance to
Oh,
like hang
awesome.
out in earnest with him as opposed to just like, hey, what are you doing? You know, like
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
had been meaning to, you know, we were at the dinner at the barbecue place. So that was what I expect as far as like hangout time with Jeff, like that short amount of like hour and a half. And he was sitting, you know, at the other end of the table. So I didn't really get a chance to talk to him. So I thought like, oh man, that sucks. It's rare, even more these days, that I get a chance to see him. So I hope this isn't the only time, but one of those nights we ended up going and hanging out at his hotel, which is that, what is that? Is it a Westin? What is that? I forget
Was
what
he
it's
at the
called.
Westin? Yeah, I think he was at the
Yeah.
Westin.
So like we had dinner with him. By we, I mean the Iconic guys, and he were sitting down chatting it up at dinner. So that was really, really
So
nice.
it was probably 4 p.m.
Yeah, like
I
six.
suppose.
It was 6 a.m. 6 a.m. dinner. You know.
Because sorry, I you know, I a lot of people don't know about this about Jeff. Like he likes to have his dinner really, really early. And I
Very
remember
early.
when you guys all came to Italy and he was in the group with us, he was the one always like around 5. Can we have like dinner in like 30
You know what?
minutes or so?
No, I mean
And every
it's
time I was
freaking
like,
hilarious.
Jeff, like restaurants aren't even open like until
in Italy,
7:30
it's
at
7,
least.
right? Yeah.
So
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
like freaking out because he couldn't have dinner earlier than 7:30.
But you know what? He to his freaking credit, I love that guy. I think he's done a lot of growing since then, a lot of personal reflection and growing. Because at one point, you know, I was like, okay, so we're gonna leave early so we can go have dinner because I know that about him, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, man, I can wait." So the dude like
Oh my
waited.
God.
Yeah, I know.
What
Right?
happened?
Mark it on your. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know. But he's
Jesus
like, "No, man,
Christ.
I can wait." He waited until
Well,
we
I
were
will
all
say
out.
this: if the restaurant is particularly delicious sounding, Jeff will wait.
Yeah,
I've noticed
At
that.
least,
Like,
in my
okay.
in my cold dead heart, I thought he did it for me. So you know, maybe it's the combination of the two, right?
it was you. It was you. That was definitely you. He definitely wants
Yeah,
to.
he
Now,
waited.
I
He
think
waited.
Jeff
That was-
had an amazing show. I
Yeah.
think Jeff did really well.
Yeah,
So he's one of the artists that did do really well.
yeah. I mean, I think he, you know, it's rare that he doesn't, but in this show,
Yeah.
he did well. So it was, you know, that's the guy that we need to call out. Thank you so much, Jeff, for making time. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you very much for being such a cool dude.
We miss you, Jeff, despite the fact that I just talked shit about you.
That's how we show
you
love.
do it lovingly.
If
you
anyone
know what I
knows
mean?
us at this point with the show, we show love by ragging on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, by the
What
way,
else?
it's not even bragging. Like, it's a fun fact about Jeff DeCall. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we love
not
him. And
unfounded,
He's a
you know what I mean?
super nice guy.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's true. So
Yeah, you know, so I gotta say, Zoe's whole purpose in going to the show was to work for Jason and to learn the business a bit and to get feedback on her portfolio. So the first night there, Zoe and I were at the Hilton, not the Westin, or the Hyatt, the Hilton or the Hyatt, I forget which one it was. But Jeff and Jim came to the room to have a little bourbon before we all went to dinner. And Jeff got there first, and he gave Zoe the most awesome, like sincere, caring portfolio review I've ever seen anyone give. And it was really helpful. And it was like that's another side of Jeff that is
he just
that's
said,
amazing.
"It sucks. You shouldn't be doing
which
this."
is which
Bye.
is what she needed to hear. He was honest.
The caring part was whoever it is that taught you here. I suspect that it's your father. Whoever taught you this storytelling techniques. Go the opposite. Speaking of Jim Mahfood, I saw him at the barbecue place again for dinner. And on the way out, Maddie, like this is to Mattteo, but like on the way out, I give him this hug. I'm like, "Hey man, all right, I'll talk to you later. We'll see you at the show. You know, always amazing to see you." And Mahfood is huge now. He is like,
Oh, really?
oh my God.
You've
that
seen him,
guy-
Matteo. I don't think Eric's seen him, but you've seen him.
Maddie, it's different. Whatever it is that you saw in previous, he's put on mass. Like
It was about 2 years ago. Jim emailed me. He's like, "Hey man, I need to start."
Here's the surprising
Working
part.
out.
This is the story. Go ahead, Shawn.
And he was like, "What do you do?" I said, I'll write down my workout plan and just use it." And so I made this Google Doc, and he started using it like daily. And then I saw him a few months later. I was like, "Jesus, man, like his shoulders are like broad. He's transformed
It's
himself."
awesome.
Yeah. So he told me that same exact story. I'm like, holy crap, man, you look great. And he goes, yeah, I needed to do something, man, because he was experiencing a lot of like personal health issues. And he said, as soon as he implemented this workout regimen, he's just been on it. I'm like, that's great. And then he volunteered. Oh yeah, I reached out to Shawn to do it. And immediately my brain was like, yo, that's not a, God. You know what I mean? Like that moment you take a measure, like, and it was like, oh boy, okay, but you know how hardcore Shawn can get. He'll have you yogaing upside down in a couple of weeks. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know,
when
like,
Shawn told him, yeah, I gave him my schedule, my program, my workout. I was like, you just do your gay yoga. What's
No, now I mean I do my gay yoga. Don't get me wrong, but now it's mainly weights and cardio.
But yeah, no, Jim looks great. He's put on he looks phenomenal. He looks healthy. He was like, there's more color.
Actually,
it's
got to be honest. I saw a picture, the one I was talking about with it's Zoe, you, Shawn, and Mahfoud, I think. And I saw something different in Mahfoud. Like it was having his usual pose, like like this. But I saw something like, maybe it's the picture, but I saw something different in him. So that's probably what it is.
Yeah, it's the fact that he's like half of the photograph, his shoulders are so stupid wide. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, Jim, always great to see you. I can't call out everybody, man. Jason and Mo were there. It's great to see Jason. Great to see Mo.
I got a funny story. Speaking of Mo, it was Sunday, and
I fucked her. That's the fun story.
Oh no! Come on, Jamie.
I mean, you buried the lead. You just totally buried the lead on that one.
No, it would be fine. You just said that. Oh, by the way, I have a fun story. He just fucked Mo. Just fucked our agent's wife, girlfriend. And I'm saying it publicly.
Usually around 3:00. If Matteo's not at a show. Because if I go to lunch with Mattteo, I'll get a coffee after lunch. But if Matteo's not there, it's usually around 3:00. Mo and me are like, we need a coffee. So she's like, Shawn, coffee? I was like, yeah. She goes, and then I got my pen with me, her weed. I was like, okay, great. So it's like 3:00. It's 2:30 on Sunday. The show's almost over. I'm like, all right, I can smoke a little bit. We go outside and I'm pulling on this pen and it's so clogged. And I'm like, Mo, this thing is clogged. She's like, you can get it. And I'm pulling, and boom, it all pops open into my, like a huge cloud of weed vapor into my head. And then we get coffees and I get downstairs and I'm like, holy shit, I am way too high right now to deal with a con. And then I realized I told everyone all weekend long I was doing portfolio reviews at 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Holy shit.
So as I'm coming back to the table, there's a line of people with portfolios. I just took my espresso down. I was like, all right, we're going to do this. And I hope I gave good advice, guys.
Guys, if he gave great advice, it's because of the weed. If he gave poor advice, it's because of the weed. So
I'm imagining right now, I'm imagining Shawn in that moment, like while doing portfolio reviews with all these people in front of him. And I'm imagining Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when they enter this club and everyone is a dinosaur or a lizard.
Yeah, lizard.
And they try to talk to them and you can see like Johnny Depp with the camera up here is like small. It's just
no, I can imagine Shawn giving portfolio reviews, but he doesn't know who he's giving portfolio reviews to. So he's flipping through Andrew Robinson's book and just being like, "This is a great start." In this,
and
corner,
the guy is right next to him, and he's waiting, and Shawn is just looking at Andrew's stuff.
And Andrew's
by the way. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I said because Andrew's a nice guy. He doesn't even say anything. He's just like, oh, that's a fair point.
Oh,
Shawn,
Andrew's stoned as well, so he's not realizing what's going on.
He's probably thinking, did I ask for a portfolio review? I must have asked for a portfolio review. What were you saying, Matty?
No, I've been needing to ask you this, Shawn. I was just curious. Like, on a daily, like, do you smoke like daily? Do you use like weed daily?
He's high right now. What are you talking about? He's microdosing.
No, I save weed primarily for the like before bed. Like I don't do it during the day. I will sometimes. I'll take a tiny low dose sativa during the day if like I feel stressed or anxious. Yeah, well, heroin does the job. But no, I don't. I don't.
You know what they say: heroin at 3, gotcha. Sativa at 7. That's Shawn's schedule.
That's right.
All right, that's an hour. Can we get out of here now?
Not yet. 50 seconds now. So now we're gonna. All right,
we'll say goodbye. Your goodbye will last. Your goodbye will last 50 seconds.
I don't think it will.
Oh, by the way, I received like a few days ago, like last Friday, my Starlink big, what do you call it, antenna arrived.
Yeah. What do you?
It's in my home. Where are you gonna put it?
Yeah.
I have in my ass. I have already talked to a guy. I found a guy who's able, because in Italy it doesn't come with the technician. So there isn't that service yet. There's not specialized technicians in Italy. So, but I found the guy. I made a quick research, and in a few minutes, I found a guy who's a kind of expert. Is already mounted them in this area, because everybody's been having problems normally with internet here. And he told me that it works perfectly here. And he's already made the plan. He came here a few days ago to see how the situation was like with the roof and everything, all the where to go with the cable and everything. And we came out with a strategy, so it's fine. Unfortunately, it's been raining for 3 days now, so he couldn't come here and do the job. Okay. But soon he's gonna be calling me, and hopefully next episode I'm gonna be wearing, my T-shirt, Elon's bitch, if it works. And yeah,
that's great. I will say you're not nearly as pixelated as you normally are.
It's pretty good.
But before we go, I do have one question.
Pretty considerable delay. I would say at least 2 seconds now.
Okay.
Like I can see from your reactions to all of my amazing jokes, you start laughing like 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds later. Eric still has to laugh, so he has a 1 hour delay.
Shawn, can you? Maybe we shouldn't tell Mattteo that we think about how much it'll hurt his feelings, so we don't laugh. And then we go like, oh, we better laugh now because that was an awful joke.
So that's the 2 seconds delayed. We're actually on perfect timing. Okay.
Right.
We're actually those 2 seconds. You texting. You have a specific symbol on WhatsApp or on messages. Yeah, it's the clap. And when you see it, you go, I'll laugh.
See, Eric just sent it. I'm looking at my phone.
All right.
I have one quick question, Mattteo.
God damn it.
Yeah.
It's just a quick one.
I'm not gay yet. I'm sorry. You keep asking every time, Shawn, but I'm not yet.
You're just in denial. You're just not admitting it to yourself. That's all. No.
Yeah, I'm still not going to suck your dick, though. Even if I'm in denial.
I got to go.
But you have several times.
I was on drugs. You drugged me.
Sure. Whatever makes you sleep better at night. Is it only tourists that will drink wine with pizza? Like, do Italians drink wine with pizza, or is that a no-no?
I would say, I would consider it to be still decent to drink a sparkling wine with pizza, or a light wine, white wine, not sparkling. Mm-hmm. But still, that's kind of it's on the edge. How do you say it? It's borderline. Red wine with pizza. It would be weird if I see somebody drinking red wine with pizza. I would say on a scale to 1 to 10, like if you drink a nice beer with a pizza, it's 0. Sparkling white wine, it would be a 1, 2. White wine, a 4 or 5, and red wine, it would be the weirdest thing you drink with pizza.
So every time I had pizza in Italy and was drinking red wine, you were laughing at me.
No, because at the end of the day, you're free to do whatever the fuck you want.
Of course,
but
of course, of course.
it wouldn't be ideal, you know.
Now listen, he was laughing at you the entire time, but
Inside.
not for the fucking red wine. He was laughing at everything else. You know, the red wine was the least offensive thing.
Mattteo, I gotta say that video you recorded of me eating in Italy that they used for the promo for the podcast. I get so much feedback from that at cons. People come up to me, be like, "Oh, did you have any food gasms this weekend?" All the time.
And I was just sorry that wasn't like, I was glad I captured that moment, but that's nothing compared to other moments.
Yeah.
So, and then now I made it a goal in my life to capture one of those real, like the how would you call them, the foodgasm?
Yeah, food gasms.
Food gasm. All right, listen. I can tell that I've emotionally checked out because I'm already checking emails
Mattteo,
as you guys are
goodbye.
like. Okay. I hate it so much. All right, knock it off. Fuck.
The Inkpulp podcast. Hey, Eric, what's up?
Hey, Shawn, I was just looking for Mattteo online like I do every morning for my daily dose of inspiration. And all of a sudden, I stumbled upon his new website.
Mattteo has a website? That's amazing. Let me see.
Isn't it great? It has everything you need to know about Mattteo. You can buy his books, check his newest Instagram posts. You can even watch the latest episode of our podcast on it.
Wow. Mattteo is amazing. This is so great. But wait a second. What is this?
This is the best part. By subscribing to the Dumb Shark newsletter, not only will you receive promo codes for original art on Essential Sequential and information about new releases, but you'll also have access to a digital version of Behind the Fins, which is Matteo's unpublished new sketchbook that collects all of his best cover layouts.
Wow. Mattteo is so generous. This is an awesome gift. I want it too. Let me subscribe right now.
Yeah, Mattteo really knocked it out of the park with this one. Right when you think he's hit his peak, he somehow finds a way to outdo himself. I'm so impressed.
Hey guys, I'm a little worried. Looks like someone keeps looking for naked pictures of me online. Wait a second. Eric, is that you?
Nope,